we are going to discuss about the next practical of radiation and microtechnology, that is to study the various characteristics of directional coupler. Now in the previous few practical we discussed about the directional coupler. What is a directional coupler? For time being we discussed that, say this is your directional coupler. Okay, if you see the hardware for directional coupler, so this is a directional coupler. What is a directional coupler? Directional coupler, it is a inbuilt flanged waveguide assembly. What is use of it? It is basically used for sampling a small amount of power. It consists of two ports. This one is a primary port, or which is also called as a main waveguide, and this is a auxiliary port, or which is also called as a secondary waveguide. Directional coupler consists of four ports. So you look at this figure, this diagram, which is just a symbolic representation of the directional coupler. This is port 1, this is port 2, this is port 1, this is port 2, this is port 3, and this is port 4. So you know this as a port 2 and this as a port 3. Okay. So this is a primary waveguide. So this is a main waveguide. So this is called as a primary waveguide. This is called as a secondary waveguide. Now what is use of this directional coupler? Basically the directional couplers are used in the microwave link, where it is essential to sample small amount of power, because power is going from source towards the destination through kilometers of the range. So in between, if you want to measure the power which is going from source to the destination, then for sampling small amount of power we are using the waveguide. So waveguide's main function is to couple or to sample a small amount of power which is going from source towards the load, which is used for the measurement purpose. Now in this in-place waveguide assembly, you can see the primary waveguide. It is designated as port 1, this is designated as a port 2, this is as a port 3, and this one as a port 4. So directional coupler consists of four ports. So signal is going from port 1 toward the port 2 toward the kilometers of distance. And if you want to measure small signal, then we are sampling. We are taking through this port. You can see here the port number 3. Through this port we are taking the signal for the sampling purpose, right? So that's why today we are going to find out the various characteristics such as isolation, coupling factor, and directivity for the directional coupler. Now here you can see here the block diagram or experimental setup is same as that of we have discussed in the previous practical for E and H plenty. That is, first it consists of reflex klystron tube. Reflex klystron tube is connected to the reflex power supply. As you know that the power supply is required for the generation of the signal. So reflex klystron power supply is first connected to the reflex klystron tube. Output of the tube is connected to the isolator. You know the function of isolator, as name indicates. Isolator is used for propagating the signal from port 1 to the port 2. But if any signal, mismatch signal comes from port 2 or from destination towards the your klystron tube, then it will provide the maximum attenuation. If in case that signal get reached towards your reflex klystron tube, it may damage the operation of your reflex klystron tube, or it may damage the stability of your reflex klystron tube. That's why isolator is always a block immediately after the reflex klystron tube. So reflex klystron tube is used as a source of microwave. Okay, it is used as a source of microwave. It generates the microwave signal within the X-band frequency range. As we discussed that all the frequencies which are propagated through this equipments available in the microwave lab, all they are operating in the X-band frequency range, which is ranging from 8 GHz to 12 GHz. Okay, so output of the isolator, which is given to the frequency meter. Frequency meter used here, it is a digital type of frequency meter, and it is used for measurement of the propagating frequency in the waveguide. After that, there is a variable attenuator knob. By adjusting the position of the variable attenuator knob, we obtain the perfect square wave on the CRO. After this, we are connecting the device under test. Now the device under test is your directional coupler. So we are connecting here the directional coupler. Output of the directional coupler is given to the rampant detector. As you know that the signal which is propagating through this waveguide, that is in the X-band frequency range, and we are observing the output on the CRO. And on CRO, at the max here we measure the signal up to 25 MHz. So how it is possible to measure this gigahertz signal on the megahertz CRO? So that's why we are doing the Similarly, instead of CRO, you can connect here the power meter also. You can connect here the power meter. If you connect the power meter, then directly we get here the signal in terms of power. Now here we are getting the signal in terms of voltage, right? Okay. So which are the various important characteristics for the directional coupler? So first important characteristics is a coupling factor. Okay. So it is a coupling factor which is denoted as C. Coupling factor is denoted by C. What is coupling factor? Coupling factor, it is a ratio of input power to the feedback power, back power, right? Okay, feedback, that is a sample power. Now look at this diagram, concentrate on this diagram. So this is a representation or this is a schematic for the directional coupler. It consists of 4 ports as you have seen in the actual hardware. So it consists of port 1, it consists of port 2, then here there is a port 3 and here it is a port 4. So the power which is entering here we denote as a input port, so that's why we are denoting it as a PI. Then here we are taking the power at the output, so it is denoted as PR, that is a received power. And here we are coupling small amount of power, so that's why it is called as a feedback power. And this is a back power, that's why it is called as a PB power. Now according to this PI, PB, PR and PF, we denote here the 3 different types of the parameters for directional coupler. So first is a coupling factor. So coupling factor means we are coupling small amount of power for measurement. So obviously it is a ratio of input power to the feedback power, back power. We are taking sampling that power. Okay. So give the input here, at that time measure the output here, and remaining port you have to terminate with the patch termination. That means input you have to connect here, you have to take output from this port. Similarly, what is the directivity? Directivity, it is a ratio of 2 powers from the same waveguide. That means either from the auxiliary port or from the main port. So if you take here the ratio of this PF divided by PB, because these two are belongs to the secondary waveguide, which is also called as a auxiliary waveguide. Okay, it is also called as a auxiliary waveguide. So it is a ratio of PF forward power divided by the back power, or in short you can say it is a sample power divided by the back power. So that will give the directivity. Then next come isolation. So what is isolation between these two poles or between these two poles? That is denoted by I. So isolation, it is a ratio of, it is the input power divided by the back. Similarly, you can write isolation as it is a ratio of PR divided by PR. How much amount of isolation is there between these two? So there should be 100% isolation, right? So there are certain characteristics for your directional coupler. That means when you apply the signal from port 1, your signals should come out of port 2 and port 4, but no signal should come out of the port 3. Similarly, when you apply the signal at port 2, your signal should come out of port 1 and port 3, but no signal should come out of this port 4. Similarly, when you apply the signal at port 4, the signal should come out of port 1 and port 3, but no signal should come out of the port 2. Similarly, if you apply the signal at port 3, the signal should come out of port 4 and port 2, but no signal should come out of the port 1. So what this characteristics tells you that? This characteristics tells you that when you apply some signal at this point, no signal coming out of this port. But however, the signal is coming out of these two ports. That means it shows that these two ports are isolated. Similarly, when you apply the signal at port 4, you will get the output at port 1 and port 3, but you are not getting any signal at port number. That means again these two ports are isolated. Okay. So this is about the theory of this, how to calculate C, E and I, that is a coupling factor, directivity and isolation for this directional coupler, right? So what you have to do, you have to make your table, observation table. What your observation table consists of? It consists of, so first you are giving input, okay? And when you are measuring output, you are measuring output at 2 ports, right? Okay, fine. So initially you are giving the input to the port 1, right? And at that time you are measuring the output at port 2, while port 3 is terminated with match termination. Now, if you see this waveguide assembly, then you will see that here one port is already terminated by the manufacturer. So port 1 is there, port 2 is there, this is your port 3 and this is your port 4. But port 3 is already terminated by the manufacturer. So need not worry about that. So what you have to do? Give input at port number 1, connect your diode detector at port number 2 and connect here the match termination. That means you are giving here the input at port number 1, you are getting the output here at port number 3 is already terminated and here 4 we have terminated ourselves, right? So similarly now you give the input to the port 2, okay, measure the output at port 1 while you terminate this port number 4, which next port is already terminated by the manipulator. Now next, connect the input at this port number 1, terminate port number 2, measure the output at port number 2. So here you are getting the coupling factor, right? So PI you are giving and you are getting here PF, right? So PI you are getting here PF while this terminal is a match terminated, right? Similarly, now you give the input at this port, right? You give the input at this port, measure the output at this port while you terminate this port. Similarly, you give the input to this port, measure the output at other port while you terminate the remaining port. So likewise 6 calculations you have to do. One input here, you have to measure output. Then connect the input here, you have to measure output. Then give the input here, you measure the output here. Give input here and you measure the output here. So in this way, we will come to know about what is the coupling factor, what is the directivity and what is the isolation. So coupling factor will tell you about how much is the power is coupled, that means how much is the power is sampled. So if you sample in between power, then you will come to know which kind of power is propagating from source to the destination. Here it is of some meters only, some centimeters. But actually when you go for the radar links or for communication link, long distance communication for microwave links, then in that case it is of kilometers. So there we don't know which kind of the signal is propagating from one point to the another point over a kilometer of distance. So there it is essential to measure this. So we have to measure this sample. We have to sample the power and we have to measure it. So which kind of power is going from one point to the another point. Actually for that purpose this directional coupler is used. And that's why the name is given as a directional coupler. It is used for coupling the signal. So there are number of directional couplers are available, single hole directional coupler, 2-hole directional coupler, but its operation is totally based on the length, electrical length, you know the electrical length which is given in terms of lambda g by 4, lambda g by 2. So it is totally depends on that concept. So let us move towards the practical. So first of all, we have to give the input, that means how you are going to measure the input. So without connecting this directional coupler, we are directly connecting signal. Without this directional coupler, we are connecting signal to the diode detector. We are measuring the output of the CRO. So that is nothing but your input power. Then after that, we are connecting the directional coupler over there, right? So that means that input is given to this. Now input is known to you. That means this P1 is known to you. And then you do the rest of the thing. You terminate one point and connect the diode detector to some other point. Okay? Then do the vice versa. Connect the output to your diode detector here and connect the match termination here. So likewise for every port you have to give the input and one port is connected to the output while other port is terminated with the match termination. Actually one more port is there but which is actually already terminated. So need not to worry about that. Okay. So we will see the practical. There is a reflex klystron power supply which is connected to the reflex klystron tube. Already we discussed that there are 3 important points: the repeller voltage, beam voltage and the beam current. Now when it is on the repeller voltage and when you move this repeller knob, then your repeller voltage will get changed, right? So by this we can change the repeller voltage. So similarly as I am changing the repeller voltage, my repeller current is also going to be changed. Now when this knob is moved to the beam voltage, then at that time if I move this point, then I will change my beam voltage. So repeller voltage is there, beam voltage is there, also the beam current is there. There are certain values above which we cannot exceed the signal, isn't it? About 25 milliampere, we cannot change this beam current. Otherwise it may damage your reflex klystron tube. Now this signal is connected to your reflex klystron. As we discussed, this continuous cooling fan is required because it gets heated because it generates the microwave signal, and that is in the gigahertz range, X band range, 8 to 12 gigahertz of frequency. That's why it gets heated. So we have to connect here, or we have to always have this fan with this reflex klystron tube. The output of the reflex klystron tube is connected to the isolator, allows signal to pass signal from port 1 to the port 2. But if any mismatch comes from port 2, it absorbs that signal, will not allow that signal to reach toward your reflex klystron tube. If it may reach to that point, then it causes the instability in the operation of the reflex klystron. That's why isolator is a very important block after any microwave source. Then there is a digital type of frequency meter is there. In the very first practical, we have discussed in detail about the what is the function of this frequency meter. This is a digital type of frequency meter used for measurement of the frequency through this waveguide. Then there is a variable attenuator now. So this variable attenuator we are using for obtaining the perfect square on the CR, right? Okay. So you may present this. So after that there is a diode detector, right? So diode detector is connected here and diode detector is connected to the CR, right? So here we are measuring the output voltage. So how much is output voltage? So you have to measure that output voltage here. So make an arrangement of Rippler and give voltage in such a way that you are getting the perfect square wave on the CRO. Okay. So here you are getting the perfect square wave on the CRO, right? So let us measure the value of this square wave, how much it is. So note down that value. So this is nothing but your input power, right? So this is your PI. This is your input power PI. Okay. How much it is? Just measure it. So this is in terms of voltage. If you connect here the power meter, you will get directly the power, right? And so here adjust the Y position, adjust the X position, so it becomes easy for you to measure this signal. So this signal is 1, 2 and it's a 2.4. Okay. So input power, it is a power. Now it is in the terms of voltage, so you measure it as a voltage. So input voltage is equals to 2.4. Approximately it goes to the 2.5. So 2.5 multiplied by 50 millivolts, right? So measure it. So this is your input voltage. Now this input voltage I am connecting to the port 1 of the directional coupler, connecting the output to the directional diode detector, and this one I am terminating it. So here, so in the first reading input is given, so I am getting the output here to which block? So I am getting here output to the second one, that is to the port 2, that is nothing but my received power. So this is called as a VR, right? While at this time this one, that is your port number 4, which is called as a sample power, right? Feedback. So it is terminated. We have to terminate it. So it is terminated. So this one is terminated, right? So let us do this observations. So you have to remove it, and while you are doing the practical, you have to take care that you should not look at the waveguide through naked eyes, because it is propagating the signal that is in the gigahertz frequency range, which may harm for your eyes, right? So while dealing with the microwave signal, we have to take care of things that we should not see it in the naked eyes. My previous experience is that most of the students get headache when they do the practical with these microwave benches. So here, I am doing the connections like this. Workplacer is helping me for doing the connection. So this port number 3 is terminated with a match termination, because we don't want the signal to be scattered. So that's why we have to take care that no port will be open, right? And so here I am terminating it with a match termination, port number 4, because port number 3 is already terminated by match termination by the manufacturer itself, right? Okay. properly, so that there should not be any kind of the scattering of signal or leakage of signal from any point, right? Now I have connected here. Now you can see here the output. Almost the same kind of the output I am getting here. That means a little bit less. So here output is obtained. It is equals to 2.2 into 50 millivolts. Okay, while this terminal is terminated. Now what I have to do? Give input, second point, give input here Vi, the same input is there because I am not changing anything here. So the signal which is coming here, that is same 2.5 into 50 millivolt, and I am measuring the signal at this back port, that is sample port, that is VR. Okay, while I have to terminate the next port by the match termination. So here VR is terminated with a match termination. So it is terminated. Now let us take this signal out, terminator. Let us move the terminator and change the direction of directional coupler and terminator with each other. This stands mounts are required for proper alignment of the signal. For proper alignment of the bench. Otherwise, bench will not get aligned properly. So that is in need of the mounts. Okay. Now, just interchange the position of diode detector with your see here, just look at here, a very small amount of signal is taken at the output side, right? So here you can see it is only focus, I will increase the focus, the intensity so that it becomes more clear, right? So it's at 20, let's go on to 20 millivolts now, not instead of 50 it goes to 20 millivolts, and how much is the signal? It's only 0.6, right? So here VF I am getting here 0.6 multiplied by 20 millivolts of signal, right? Less than that, 20 volts. So that's why I can see 2.5 to 50 millivolt is a given input signal, but how much signal I am getting? Such a less. That means only small signal, that is 1/100th of the given signal. Suppose 1 watt signal is going from input to the output, so 1 watt divided by 100 times. That much is the only signal we are sampling from this port, right? So now similarly you have to change the position. Now connect this port number 2 to the input, connect the here the match termination and measure the output here. So our next is you have to give the input to your terminal receive terminal, right? It will be same because I have not changed anything from here. So 2.5 into 50 millivolts. So this is my input terminal. Now you keep it as it is. So you are getting the signal from this one. This is which terminal? Feedback terminal, right? So feedback terminal, and here find out what is the signal at the input terminal, that is equals to Vi. Okay. So let us move it. Let us change the direction. So here now port number 2, that is a received port, okay, where we are receiving the signal from source to destination. Now input is connected to that port, right? So take care that this rectangular shape should be connected to this rectangle only. look at here, right? Otherwise signal cancellation will take place there. First of all, you put the screw in diagonal fashion like this, right? Okay, good. Now I am giving the signal to the port number 2. I am measuring the signal at port number 1, while port number 4, that is a sample port which is connected here to the match termination, and another one is already terminated by the manufacturer itself, right? So let us measure it. So initially we are given 2.5, right? We are getting 2.5. So approximately this is also equals to 2.5. So same signal approximately 2.5 to 2.4 it is. 2.4 into 50 millivolt signal you are getting on the port number 1. Now you can see here, if you see, look at on the observation table, we have given input Vi is equals to 2.5 millivolt. That means initially at this port. Now we are given input for this port and we are measuring the output at the port number 1. Approximately we are getting the same signal because directly it is connected over here. They are the part of the main port, right? Now let us disconnect this connection and connect it to the port number 3. Sorry, port number 4. Port number 3 is always terminated with a match termination. Okay. So match termination is connected to the port number. This port, it is connected to the port number 2. Now we are, wherever detector you are connecting, that means you are measuring the signal on that particular port, right? So here, very small or approximately very small. You are not getting the signal here on CRO. It's very less. Actually it is not 0. Ideally it should be 0. Practically you are getting something 0.2 or something you can say. Very less signal. So when now input is given to second port, right? And you are measuring the output already you are measured. So here we are measuring output at this port now. How much it is? It is very less. Approximately it's a 0.2 if you take here and multiplied by 10 millivolts. Actually it's very less. You are not observing even a square root on this here, isn't it? Even you are not observing this square root on this here. Okay? So approximately 0.1. Because what it shows that you are given the signal at port 2, you are measuring the signal at the port 4. These two ports are isolated. That means when you apply signal here, you are getting the signal here, but you are not getting the signal on this port, right? That's why we can conclude here that these two ports, that is port number 2 and port number 4, they are isolated ports, right? Have you understood? I hope you understood this, right? Now let us, in the fourth one, you give input for this VF. Okay, give input. How much is input? Already we have set the input 2.5 into 50 millivolts. Now what is your target? Your target is to measure the output at VI. Your target is to measure the output at the VI, right? Means give input at this port, measure the output first of all measure the output here, then measure the output at this port, right? Okay. So we have to move the position of the lens because we have to deal with the sample port, right? So what you have to do? Connect it like this. So input is given to this port now, right? I have given input to this port. I am measuring the output to nearby port. So approximately if you are giving input here and measuring output here, that means these two are the isolated ports. So practically you should get here the negligible signal, right? because these two are the isolated ports. So here I have to connect the diode detector. This rectangular shape should be connected to the rectangular. Don't connect like this. So you have to connect like this, right? So for doing this practical, always we need the help of, there should be one supporting staff required for doing the practical of microwave, right? So it should be connected properly so that there should not be. So you can see here you are given the input. So look at here, input is given here to this feedback, means sample port, right? And we are measuring the output on the received port. This is the received one, no? So here how much you are getting? It's very less, negligible, right? So approximately 0.1 multiplied by 10 millivolts, or it is less than that actually, right? Now what you have to do? Give the input here itself. Now measure the output over there. Where? In the first port. So here input you are given to the VF, that is a feedback port. You have to measure the output at the received port. This is your output port, received port, and this is your input port. Now let us change the positions of this directional coupler and diode detector. Then you are getting the signal. Okay, just look at here. You are getting the signal because these two ports are not isolated ports. Just now we have seen the characteristics. When you apply the signal at port 4, you are getting the signal at port 1, but you are not getting the signal at port 2 because these two ports are isolated. That's why previously when you are given the signal at this port, you are not getting anything here. But now you are given the signal here, you are getting the output here. And that output, even though it is less, but this output is available here. So it is approximately, you can see here, it's approximately 0.8. Okay. So it's a 0.8 into 50 millivolts, right? Okay. Now from this available observations, we can calculate here C, you can calculate here D, you can calculate here R. What is your C? That is the coupling factor. Now that was for your power. So here is for voltage. So it will come 20 log base 10. Your, what is C? It is your PI. That means this one. That is your PI divided by your received coupled signal, which is terminated. So here we have measured that signal. We have that is equals to 0.6, right? So that one. So these signals are already with you. 2.2 into 50 into 10 raised to minus 3 divided by 0.6 into 20 into 10 raised to minus 3. So you do the calculation. Here you will get a coupling factor directly in the decibel, right? Similarly, I'll post you all these things on the group so that you can make a calculations. Only important thing is the understanding of the characteristics of directional coupler, right? So this is first. So only small amount of power is sampled here, you can see. Similarly, you have to calculate here the second one, that is the directivity. Directivity, it is a ratio of two powers. That means between this and this one. Okay. So between two. That means it is a ratio of 20 log base 10 VI divided by VI, right? Directivity between the two ports. Then third one, isolation. Isolation, it is a ratio of 20 log base 10. What is your power? That is your VR divided by your back power, that is VF power, right? Fine. So from this we conclude that directional coupler, it is a microwave component which is basically used for sampling a small amount of signal which is propagated from source to the destination over a long distance. Okay, thank you.